Good morning, everybody. We're talking with Rod Goelz today. Rod's a fantastic musician. He lives in Pennsylvania. He's
Mhm.
been, he does so many things, it's exhausting to even think about it, but he teaches private lessons on guitar, bass, drums, percussion, ukulele. Just been teaching for years and years. And now his latest endeavors, he's teaching teachers how to be better educators and level up their marketing, their strategy, their organizational approach. And he has a proprietary system called the Share System.
Mhm.
So I'm meeting with Rod today because we're in a group together. And I thought it would be great to talk about some of the things he's done to make sure he can do all these fantastic things all the time, because it's his laundry list of to-dos must be a mile long.
It is. I don't sleep. I've learned.
Yes. So welcome, Rod. I'm really glad you're
Thanks
here.
for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much.
Thanks for having me.
So how's your time been in the last few months?
Actually, it is a blessing in many ways.
Good.
It is a blessing in many ways. I don't, you know, certainly my world is turned upside down, as I
Hmm.
think everybody's has.
Yeah.
But if you're able to pivot, and I recognize that not everybody is able to pivot,
Hmm.
but if you're able to pivot, I think we can make this a better. This is a good thing.
The virtual
Forces
thing.
even
Yeah.
even if it forces us, it takes our hand into another direction that we wouldn't have chosen otherwise. um I used to travel, like,
Crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd be out of the house all the time, and it's like, now if this keeps up, I might entertain getting a dog, and it's like that's cool. That
Wow.
you know what I
That's
mean?
awesome. That's a different way of life to actually be
Yeah,
able to have a home like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to travel in my corporate job. I would be gone Monday through Thursday and come home Friday, work all day Saturday. And I'd have one day a week that I actually lived in my house.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the rest of the week was in a hotel
Same,
room or in my office in front of my computer.
same.
And I'd like visit the kitchen and visit
Yeah,
my bedroom. But on Sunday, I actually lived in my house, and that's
yeah,
one day a week. So I get it. You're right. That has been a blessing for
yeah, yeah,
this, all the tragedy, but the blessing has been this
yeah, yeah.
virtual change.
Certainly the illness and this, and there's a whole, this has brought up a whole rat's nest of new stuff that the social machine is having to deal with, and
Right, right.
that
Yes.
that I don't enjoy, because it's like it gives us more stuff to argue about, and it's like,
Yeah.
why can't we rise to the occasion and be decent to one another?
But if it was easy, it would have happened years ago.
Yeah,
So I think change only comes through somewhat of a struggle, and
that's
and bringing people to the conclusions, and
mhm.
grouping people into the same pathway. Leading them forward needs a leader, and and then as a teacher, right? So like your students don't always get it the first time, right?
Mhm.
They have to see something two or three times
Yeah, I just don't want
before
anyone to
they
die. That it's hard watching people die before they figure things out.
I get it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty tragic. But when you have so many people uh, that are so used to being individuals, and
Hmm.
asking them to rally around one another when they don't do it all the time, because our social structure has been very stretched in the last few years. People have been really hustling to get themselves going. Churches and schools and communities are really fractured, and so I think
I
we've
understand.
started at a deficit, with all this stuff. So this is kind of trying to rebuild the social fabric at the same time we're
Mhm.
dealing with the tragedy, and it's like
Yeah,
very, very hard
I
to
understand all that, and as I've had people close to me die, and
sorry.
let's not argue about whether it is a hoax or not. It's like, it's not. People are
Somebody's
dying.
dying. Right,
Yeah,
right.
people are dying, and it's like, whatever. So,
Yeah. So
but
anyway.
the opportunities that happen because you're no longer bound by the 10-mile radius of your house
Right,
in my line of work,
right.
the 10-mile radius of my house, that is not a limitation anymore.
Right, right,
And it forced, and as I said, it kind of forced my hand into like, how do I market my skills and my knowledge and my whatever it is that I have to somebody in Chicago?
right,
And then if I don't know the answer, what are my choices? What do I do?
right. Well,
I,
you
I
had
find I find somebody who does know the answer.
there you go. Well,
Yeah.
you had books that
Mhm.
were doing very well as far
Mhm.
as instruction. Sorry,
Yeah.
guitar instruction and all sorts of things like that. But that media can only go so far because you're
That's the start
getting
of it. Yeah.
beginning
Yeah.
students, and that's like the beginning of your pipeline, right? But if you want
Yep.
to grow and scale, it's really hard because you're limited by you're not sitting in front of all the people that are talking to beginning musicians, so
Yeah.
the online world had to be really a great help for you because you could
Yeah.
just have it out there and
That's a,
and
the book is just the tip of the iceberg.
right, right.
And this is what our mentors have taught us.
Yes, they have.
Okay. The book is just the tip of the iceberg. It's like you repackage that book.
Hmm.
There's other ways to repackage it that are creative, more useful, and it's easy. It's more profitable for us.
Sure.
But it's like we're throwing our thing out into the universe, and we're not being punished. We're not being punished by like just thinking small is punishing yourself.
Yeah, you really need to share more to share
Yeah,
with the world and have a bigger
you need to
impact.
fully manifest your stuff because
Right.
it's like you put on your superhero cape and and you know what I mean. I'm
Yeah,
serious about that because it's like um this is what we're here for.
it is. It is.
Okay. And I'm having effect in my community, and I love my community, and I will
Sure.
defend my community, and I will continue to do what I do within my community. But with that said, I'm not bound to it,
Just
the
by
city
that. Right.
walls.
Right, right. Yeah, I hear
Okay.
you. I hear
Yeah.
you. It's an interesting concept, and I think so many more people are embracing it, and it is one of the great benefits that we've had in the
Hmm.
last year. So
Yes.
tell me, how do you keep all these balls in the air? I mean, you're teaching, you're performing, performing, you're like, all hours of the day and night. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm sure you're doing virtual performances and all sorts of other stuff and lessons. How do you
The
get it
virtual
all done?
the virtual performance stuff is actually that's another bonus from the pandemic
Mm,
because now here it is. I have not cracked the code on how to get paid for it,
right.
but with that said, that is not, we get paid in other ways.
It gets you out there and yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
good.
I played New Year's Eve this year, and
Oh, really?
it went out to all the county, every corner in the county because
Nice.
because of television and because of the
Oh,
virtual the virtual thing. And it's like um, that is this is the first year that has ever happened that we as a society as a scene. York, Pennsylvania, has gotten their act together that the the people with the camera experience and the multiple camera angles and the lighting and all that kind of stuff meet up with the musicians, meet up with the art uh, uh, programs.
uh-huh.
We all get together. We all get together, and it's like this is what we're going to do. And within an hour, it was done.
So did
Okay,
you record it and then they
ordered it.
broadcast it?
Yeah, they
Oh,
broadcast. Yeah, and that is the beautiful thing that is happening that I want to continue.
hmm.
In other words, I don't necessarily want to go. There's a parts of that I hope the pandemic ends,
Hmm.
but I think this is going to change us all.
Sure. I mean, the thought of being in a venue indoors with an audience has to be incredibly frightening at this point.
Yeah, yeah,
I
right.
mean, you
Yeah.
know, um, I just got my vaccine yesterday, my first one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's gonna be a long time before we can trust that
No, you're right.
everybody's there. I think we could be another year before it's really comfortable opening up.
Yep.
So in the meantime, I think you're right. The virtual is the way to go. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm sure you miss it with the
yeah.
interaction and the
So,
energy and all that,
yeah,
but
I social distance. It's like people come to the house.
mhm,
Okay, we social distance. We wear masks.
yeah.
We're safe.
I've seen
Um,
some of your recordings. Yeah, I
yeah,
can see it.
but so but when it's all over and everything is safe, the world will still be different.
Yeah, it will be. Absolutely.
In other words, it's kind of like industries like when we went to the moon,
Mm.
we develop all these things were developed that you didn't think it was like Tang, for example. They made
Tang.
Tang.
Who could live without Tang,
You
right?
remember, yeah, but there's all these kind of innovations that happened as a result of something.
Right, right.
And if we see, I think looking positively at what's going on now, um, there's going to be innovations that are going to go way beyond. We're not going to say no.
I
We're not going
agree.
to we're not going to use that anymore.
I agree. I
you,
agree.
you know what I mean? That's insanity.
So how are you controlling all this stuff? How are you keeping it all going? I mean, I just saw that you joined the Kilmaine Saints too
No, that
a
was a
long time
while
ago.
ago. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
a couple of years ago. That was wonderful. That was my
that
first
sounds
trip
like fun.
to California was with them.
Oh,
I was the utility guy. I played the mandolin, I played the guitar, I played the bass, whatever was needed.
nice.
I filled in.
Oh, it must be coming up because the St. Patrick's Day is coming up or something. So
hmm
some of those things are coming back up again.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so how do
So,
you keep it all going? What do you use to schedule your life?
uh, Google, basically
Google
Google,
Calendar.
yeah, Google Calendar. I'm
Great.
doing a lot of I have this new website or it's like a Facebook page called We Love Guitar Nerds,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and then and I have the rock band page. My rock band page is the thing that my music education. I think people learn best by playing together,
Yeah.
and that is one of the things that has slowed down over the last year. I have
Mm-hmm.
like two bands. I had many before.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. It's like we're rebuilding
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we're being safe. I want to be safe about it, and it's like, but the rock. My one of the things about my educational approach is we we're learning defense skills that survival skills.
Right. Long
Like
term.
what does a guitar player need to know in order to play with another musician? Do they need to know how to read music? No.
Need to be able to listen.
When's the last time you saw a guitar player pull out a chart
Yeah,
when
right.
when they play Highway to Hell or I feel good by James
Yeah,
Brown,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is, whatever the style is. So that's one of the things that so the rock band program, and then I have the We Love Guitar Nerds, which is just like nerding out on guitar stuff. But the other thing that I'm bringing together is the idea of musical scenes. We can what do we do in a musical scene like supporting how do we support the music within our communities and these
Right.
and I'm interviewing professional musicians that had a really big effect throughout history from like the 80s 70s and 80s on and what is your story,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and then I want to learn from this and I want people to learn from it and it's all going on Facebook, it's all going on um, YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like these interviews are going to feed into all the other stuff in my
Mm-hmm.
you
In
know
your world, in your
my
universe, in your
universe.
sphere, in your sphere, in the Rod
So
Goelz sphere of
yeah,
existence.
so and it's exciting because some of these people
Yes.
I I have a huge amount of respect for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these people.
Well, you
Um,
went to Berkeley, right? Berkeley
I
School of
did.
Music.
Yeah,
That just has so many greats that have gone through
yeah.
there too. I mean, you must have
Yeah.
a
I
lot
went
of
to
people there.
I went to school with Layla Hathaway. I don't know. She doesn't remember me, but we were at an English class together. Silent.
Hi
Um,
there.
but Donny Hathaway's daughter, and
Uh-huh.
Donny Hathaway's an influence on me. He's
Right.
one of my influences.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, Paula Cole. There's
Yeah.
a lot
Oh,
lot
I
of
like Paula.
Yeah.
Well, my son went to the Foreman School in Litchfield in Connecticut, and
Hmm.
they had a lot of folks from Berkeley. Like his instructor was Ram Miles. I don't know if you know him,
Hmm.
and he was actually at Berkeley for a lot and taught. But we also had, because Chick Corea's son was in the school,
Oh,
and
wow.
and so we had a bunch of that stuff, and people were
Mhm.
always coming through there. So I was always going up to check him out. We had Yo-Yo Ma show up one day, and it was
Uh,
like at
He's
some
wonderful.
jamboree thing, and so I just love the
So
connection with that
Yo-Yo,
school.
what school is this?
It was a boarding school for high school boarding school in Litchfield called Foreman, the
Okay.
Foreman School. And so this, a lot of the students, their parents were connected to Berkeley, or some of the students themselves were heading to Berkeley, and there was a lot of
Okay.
connection with the two schools. So we ended up seeing a lot of the people that came from
So Yo-Yo Ma
Berkeley.
comes to
He
this
came,
school.
and he'd perform at like jamborees they'd have, or like family picnics and stuff. So because his kids were at the school, so he'd be
Okay.
like
So
performing.
he embraces improvised music.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
will tell you, I love that man.
He's wonderful, man.
I love that man. He is head and shoulders above. Like he has the foresight that yes, I'm based in the classics, but that is not all of who I am.
No.
Okay, how are we going to create something new? How are we going to find our own voice?
Oh, and he would show up
I like cut throat.
and play in front of all these high schoolers who wanted to be musicians, and they appreciated classical, I'm sure, in their history somewhere, but they'd sit down in an auditorium and he would play, and they would all just be blown away. So
Hmm.
imagine like a 13, 14, 15-year old who's never really been to a symphony, or really had that, but they love music, and but you just sit in an auditorium and he performs, you feel like you're with him.
Yeah,
Like you feel like you're the only one around.
yeah.
And he's just so captivating, and then he impressed so many, put a mark on so many kids.
Yes,
It's amazing.
I can see
So,
why.
yeah,
I can see why because
he's available. He's
yeah,
he's human. He's out there. He's interacting with the world. He's not
mhm.
just on a stage.
Or in an ivory tower.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, music is a wonderful thing. My son played bass, and so I've been living the parent's life of a musician. So it's been interesting. So I'm fascinated by what you do, because it's just so
So
important.
musicians, when I talk to my students about economy of motion,
Hmm.
and economy of motion is this idea that my dad used to tell me, you wanna learn to work smarter, not harder. And if there's
Right,
any way we can do that in our technique, in our strumming, in the songs we choose, in the in anything when I'm teaching music,
right.
that's an economy of motion principle. Okay.
Interesting.
So in business we have the same thing. And this is the thing that we need to know. We need to
Right,
know. Okay.
right.
So some of the economy of motion principles that I have is hire people sometimes.
When you
Hire
need it,
people
yeah,
some, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
because something, and I want to give a shout out to Mike Males. He's a graphic artist.
Nice.
Something that will take me 5 days, he can do in 30 minutes.
He did an awesome job. Did
Because
he do
he's a,
your graphics for
yeah,
your
that was
YouTube
30 minutes.
channel?
That was 30 minutes worth of work.
God bless.
So the next layer, and as you had said, the share system, if I'm going to have an effect on this world, I have to, at some point, I've been doing this is my 32nd year of teaching.
Wow.
If I'm going to have a bigger effect on this world, I have to teach people what I do, and I have to do other stuff, if that
That's
makes
wonderful.
sense. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that is economy of motion too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
That's wonderful.
yeah. So that is where the share system is coming from. At in the present, I'm figuring out all the technology
That's fun, isn't it?
and marketing, and as I said, we both have mentors that are helping us with this. But it's like this is um, once once that code is cracked, then there I don't see that. That's what I'm saying is like there were limitations before.
There aren't now. Yeah,
There's not really any limitations now.
right. Well,
So
I am thrilled that you agreed to sit down and talk to me about some of this stuff, and I can't wait to see what your system looks like when you get it all out there.
yeah,
Um, I'm excited to see all these people that we know blossoming into all these amazing entrepreneurs and business owners. You know, like it's nice to be surrounded by people of like mind,
yeah,
and that helps further you along and helps you feel like you're connected,
yeah,
and you're not just out there by yourself screaming into the wind. You're like, yeah, okay, like I really do think that this can go, and these people believe it too, and it just makes it all the more real and easier to do, you know.
yeah.
So for
But
me,
yeah. But there's the other thing as a musician that one of the things we say is you want to be the at some point in life you want to be the worst guy in the room because that's where all the learning happens. So when
yes.
I'm around all these like marketers,
Hmm.
that's what it feels like. But it's I don't see that as a bad thing. In other words, I have so much to learn from all of them,
Hmm.
and it's like I am ridiculously grateful. And
I am
I'm sure as I yeah as I'm sure you are too, because they are helping lift us up, and it's like
right.
what our art, what our business, entrepreneurship, whatever shape that takes, there that's the butterfly effect.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
and
so true.
it's
You
exciting.
know, it is exciting, but I have to tell you though, you have such a great foundation out there already, and this life's work that you've had
Mhm.
that to draw on that it's got to feel good because to a certain extent you're repurposing a lot of things you've done
Absolutely,
already.
what
So
I'm
you're
absolutely.
not starting from, the very beginning. You're just turning it into a new platform
Hmm.
and reaching and scaling. So that's going to feel good too because you have a lot to pull from, and I'm just, the more I ever see, whenever I see you, it's like, oh, he's got this too, and he does that too, and he does this too. It's like, it's
Ideas
amazing.
are not a ideas for some people. Ideas are a problem.
You don't have that problem.
No, no, no. I'm coming into my own.
Yes.
I'm coming into my own because, as I said, I want to manifest great things.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
taking from the past and bringing it to the present. There's lessons from the past that we all can benefit from, and to the younger generations, I'm 50. I'm 52 right now, so anything under 50 is younger. To young
Absolutely.
to younger generations, old ideas, if they don't know them, are new ideas.
This is true. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
they've never experienced it.
You're right. You're right.
It's
You're right.
a new idea.
Huh. Well,
I
that
don't, I don't,
deep.
I'm not inspired by everything that is new. I am inspired by stuff in other words, I'm inspired by whatever I'm inspired by. But if I've never heard of Cab Calloway, then he's new.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay. He's new to me
Yeah,
or whoever it is.
right.
It could be any, as I said, so,
So you have a field out there of people just waiting for something new, whether it's old or it's new,
yeah, yeah.
the
Yep.
whole world out there that's you can touch with
Hmm.
your new stuff, which is just amazing. So
Yeah, I'm working every day at it. That's the other thing that we need to know. We work a little bit every day,
yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit every day.
that's how
Ne-
you
Never
get through it.
never never let go of your dream. It's like it's not. Um, this is something important. If it's important to you, it will happen.
I agree. Yeah.
In my life, all the successes I've had many failures, as we all have.
Mm,
But all the successes I had came when when no was not an option,
yeah.
when failure was not a possibility.
You just keep plugging it and
Yeah,
keep
I
pushing
knew,
it through.
and I don't wish anybody foul. I knew the working at Green's Ice Cream was not going to work for me. I was in the ice cream cooler in 1988, and then I was like, that was my Vietnam.
I
So
worked at Baskin Robbins.
okay, so
I hear you, man.
Yeah. Oh my
Go
God.
home smelling like ice cream, and you didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't eat it for 20 years after that.
I still haven't eaten Green's ice
Well, I
cream.
went back when my kids were young because it was in front of me all the time. So I went
Yeah.
back slowly, but
Yeah.
yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah.
That smell, that sugar,
Yeah. But it
yuck.
was like my knees are, yeah.
The
But
sticky,
it was a good thing to experience, but it was temporary, but I knew that was not my lot in life.
right, right. And
Uh,
once you get that lesson, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep going, because I
Yeah.
ain't go back.
That kept me moving forward. And it's like
Right.
if you want to get past that, you
Hmm.
have to
Keep at it.
it's also somewhat of a I don't want to say dreamer because dreamer makes it sound like it can't happen. But I'm certainly a forward thinker.
Well,
I
you're
I'm
creative too,
I'm
and the
yeah,
creative side doesn't see walls as much as some
yes.
people see, and because you're uh like I do art, so like because you share your art with the world already,
Hmm.
you're already open.
Yes.
At least that's what I feel like.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I feel like I'm not like a lot of my peers who do technology and things like they're working on their stuff. They don't think about the bigger
Hmm.
picture of everything as much.
Yeah.
Where I have the tech side, but I also have the artistic kind of want to see more and see a bigger, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
world out there.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So we think differently.
yeah,
We
yeah,
think differently because some people, as I said, some people where they're at is you're not going to change the world.
yeah. And they
That's
can't imagine it. They can't even imagine it.
mhm.
And I think because of the creativity that we have, we can see it in our minds. We can make the connections and
Mhm.
see the possibilities if we experience something. And I think other people just they're watchers. They're not really thinking about how that impacts and how they can use it. They're just observers. So
Yep. Yep. And
yeah, so we are very fortunate. We have a great group of people we're working with, and I'm just thrilled that you're one of them. So
yeah,
it's
and
exciting,
a
and
blessing. It's a blessing.
it is, and I think we're only gonna the next year is just going to be phenomenal for all of us. I think because we've put this last year personally has been tough, but from a business point of view, it's been the beginnings,
Mhm.
of the blossom of the idea, the growth, and I
Yes.
think the next few months we're going to see
The
more and more
caterpillar.
people getting some traction. So I think it's going to be good.
Mhm. Mhm. The caterpillar. Yep.
Yeah, but I should let you on to your day. We've
All
probably
right.
spent enough time,
I'll
and I
let you.
appreciate your flexibility with me here, and we'll get it all
Yep.
straightened out, and we'll have you back in another month, and maybe I'll get my act together.
Oh,
All
your act is fine.
right.
All
Thank you
righty.
so much, Rod. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you so much. Bye.